You want to look this cool? Well, maybe not. But in this episode, we're going to talk all about bringing your merch ideas to life. Hey there, and welcome. My name is Brian, and I go by the alias of Half Pump both online and while playing some of my favorite games. And I've been a content creator on and off for the last 4 years, and in that time, I've started 3 separate businesses that I still own and manage to this day. And it's always been my dream to leverage that experience and my passion as a student for content creation and all the technology involved to lower the barrier of entry into becoming a business owner. And so on this channel, you're going to find everything to do with content creation, strategy, techniques, as well as the technology involved, and some of my playthroughs of my favorite games, because I also stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday on Twitch, where I start every stream talking about the industry and various social media techniques and strategies before jumping into some of my favorite games. So, creating merchandise for your business or as a supplemental income avenue for your streaming or YouTube or podcast can really be broken down into 3 separate categories. The first category we'll talk about is the services really targeted towards streamers or YouTubers. The next category we'll talk about is made to order products. And then finally, we'll cap this out with leveraging your local print shops. Each of the various approaches are going to have their different strengths and weaknesses. So it's my hope with all the merch I have here to talk to you about each strategy and give you some things to keep in mind when deciding what might be the best strategy for you when creating merch for your business. Let's start with the services targeted towards streamers first. This just happens to be the one that I have a lot of experience with, even though I've made products leveraging different strategies that we're going to talk about here today. But 2 of the big ones that you're going to see out there that are specifically targeted towards streamers is Stream Elements and Streamlabs. Both of them have these fully integrated merchandise stores that are there to create this seamless experience with the live interaction. So things like screen pops when somebody buys a t-shirt, for instance. So you get an actual alert saying so-and-so bought this shirt or bought this hat or mug. And I actually did a sample order with Stream Elements, and Streamlabs is going to be fairly similar. So I'm going to talk about that for a moment. The shirt I'm wearing here that you see that says Half Pump on it or HP, as well as this mug, are both from Stream Elements. And overall, this is a pretty good quality mug. It's just a standard ceramic white mug that they printed the saying on. I actually created this image in a Photoshop-like application called GIMP, and then made it a transparent background, placed it on the item within their little tool, and chose all the colors. So I had all the color choices, the placement, the sizing, all of that, took that logo, put it on a little virtual version of this mug so I could see the placement of it and exactly what that looked like, and then placed a test order. And the beautiful thing about Streamlabs and Stream Elements is you can actually set the price for your item. So you can actually increase your margins or decrease your margins if it's just something more of a community building thing, like kind of what I do. I have minimal margins on these, just simply want them as a convenience item for people to, spread the word about my channel. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about their shirt quality. So it might be a little hard to see, but I purposely went with black lettering on a black shirt, calling it out the Blackout series of shirts. I'm testing placement and sizing of the letters here, but overall, the quality is really good. It's a nice soft shirt. It fits exactly as planned. Like I wear a large in t-shirts, and this fits exactly as I would expect it to. So it didn't run too small or too large. You did get a vinegar smell when you received the shirt, but they tell you that it's going to smell like vinegar. It has to do with the printing process. As soon as you wash the shirt once, the smell goes away. I actually have already washed this shirt once because I didn't want to deal with the smell. But that is something to be expected of the printing process. And so overall, Stream Elements and Stream Labs are going to have a fairly similar approach, and I've been impressed with the quality, especially for the price. Delivery takes a little bit longer. The shirt took about a week, week and a half, but you do have to keep in mind these are just-in-time production. So you place an order, they print the one object, and then they ship it. It's not like they build a whole batch and just wait for people to buy that specific item. So you do have to expect a little bit longer time, but I was still fairly impressed. I've actually worked with other services that took weeks, a month even, to receive the item, but these just-in-time print services are getting really quick, and overall I've been really impressed with the products I'm getting from Stream Elements, which I can confidently say is going to be fairly similar to the experience you'll get with Streamlabs. Next, I'd like to talk about the made-to-order strategy. So this is going to be services like Designed by Humans or Teespring, or another service I've used, which is Printful. So I've actually used Designed by Humans and Printful. I have a couple examples here. So this is one of my throwback shirts. Again, that saying that we talked about earlier, in sort of an 8-bit font here. And it is a kind of print to fabric solution, so it's not vinyl. It did have the same sort of vinegary smell, so I had to wash the shirt. But overall, the shirt is really soft. Actually has Designed by Human tag in the back, so you can tell it's not some random company. But overall, really soft material, great color and print job on it. As another example for Designed by Human, you can see this Dr. Lupo shirt. So Dr. Lupo, St. Jude's charity that I donated to, they gave a shirt if you donated at a certain level. Now this one's a little bit different. They actually used vinyl over printing. So like the letters here are printed onto the shirt versus this logo is a vinyl logo, and the top St. Jude's logo is also vinyl. So this is a little bit higher quality print. It's a little bit thicker. You can kind of hear the plasticky vinyl sound to the shirt, but this is a really nice shirt. Same sort of material as the other shirt, but they did a different sort of print on that. And that's one advantage of like a Designed by Humans, is you get to choose what sort of print they do. And this also extends to other services like Printful. So Printful is going to be like a Shopify add-on or plug-in to your merch store. So even if you sell other products, say maybe your main product is art or wall art, but you also have some really cool designs that you want printed on shirts, you could leverage a service like Printful to print those shirts. People could shop through your website, and then they're printed in the same sort of just-in-time fashion. But again, they have different printing and actually embroidery options. So this hat here, this is one of the other businesses that I own, and we have this nice G logo, is actually embroidered onto a flex fit hat. So nice flex fit hat, same as this hat here is a flex fit, but then instead of a vinyl approach like my hat is, where we have it ironed on vinyl, this is actually embroidered right onto the front of the hat. They also have more of the print on fabric approach. So this is a sweatshirt from Printful as well, and it's the sort of same print on fabric that you saw with my Designed by Human black. It only took a half pump shirt, as well as what you're seeing with the Stream Elements. So still good quality, the color that we wanted, and then as far as the hoodie goes, still a good hoodie. I mean, it's just a Gildan hoodie. I don't know if you know anything about the mass-produced t-shirts or sweatshirts out there, but Gildan tends to be a nice thick and soft material in that category. So the big takeaway with made-to-order products is going to be, how are you going to market with these? If you're going to be more of a traditional e-commerce website, or maybe something outside of streaming, even though Teespring and Designed by Human have streaming integrations, they also have reach outside of that, where you can create true merchandise stores as part of your monetization strategy for whatever products or branding that you are putting out there. So be it if you have a nice logo, which we've talked about in other videos, or you have a certain image or art that you've created as part of your portfolio, or you just come up with some fun ideas that really represent your community. There are some great services out there that you can leverage to print some high quality t-shirts and sweatshirts and mugs and hats, and there's a variety of different products available. Some are a little bit more limited, like Streamlabs and Stream Elements, a little bit more limited versus these Designed by Humans, Teespring, and Printful, which have more products available. So lastly, let's talk about leveraging your local print shop. So this hat here, was actually created locally. They used a hot press vinyl that was a matte finish. So I worked with them to really understand the fabric and the look and what it would look like on the material, because I wanted, again, as part of this blackout series that I'm creating, a matte black icon or logo on a black hat. And the same thing kind of with the shirt, but I used a different service for that. And overall, working with local print shops can be quite a bit different. You are generally paying a little bit more, but the experience can be a little bit more involved. Like when I went down and made this version of the It Only Took a Half Pump t-shirt. This is actually made with vinyl. You can hear it again. Printed onto a set of Falls Creek t-shirts that I actually went down to my local supermarket and bought a bunch of, and then brought those shirts into the print shop and had them print all of these shirts, because I actually have a whole set, and then I gave a bunch away. But they also can provide their own shirts. But the beauty of going down to the local shop is you can actually go see the material, touch the different t-shirts and sweatshirts and products that they can print on. And it's a really tactile experience. So you can really understand what it might look like, what it's going to feel like. And that's probably where a lot of the cost comes in. So if you're looking to turn around and sell these as part of a merchandising strategy, you might need to buy in very large volumes to be able to drive down the cost, or look at other options that are a lower cost barrier to entry, maybe like these made to order or stream focused services, which we've already talked about. But don't overlook the local shops. They do produce good quality. They can produce them quickly. And I was able to really come up with a design I liked. And unfortunately, I might have to charge a little bit more if I ever want to, sell these hats, because they are more costly in both materials and raw resources, such as like getting the hat and then paying for the vinyl and then the services to heat press it, and all of that stuff just tends to cost a little bit more than these ready-made products that you find out there. As you can see, there are a ton of different ways that you can create your own merchandise. So regardless if you're a streamer or a YouTuber or an artist, or you just have some cool ideas for some merch and you actually want to make that your business, I encourage you, go look at these different platforms that exist out there. They might fit your needs better than others. And I'm not sponsored by any of them. So I really do encourage you to do your research. My goal with this video was hopefully to get the juices flowing and hopefully create some new ideas for you as a different way you might be able to go to market and create some physical products for your brand. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really supports the channel and it means a ton to me. If you'd love to chat more about merchandise and creating your own swag, you can catch me every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, I'm showing you behind the scenes content on Instagram and keeping that conversation alive on Twitter. So until next time, take it easy.